Hello, my name's Dave and you're listening to episode 91 of On the Bench, the podcast for scale modelers, by scale modelers, all about scale models. And this show is being brought to you through the generous support of Andrew DeBoer, Ben Flood and Terry Wilkinson. Three gentlemen who've decided to step up to the plate and help support our show through Patreon. And you too can help support the show. All you have to do is go to www.patreon.com/onthebench and pledge any amount from $1 upwards. Your support of the show helps us with our production costs and hosting costs and are greatly appreciated. In this show, we've got some exciting announcements, and we're also going to be having a bit of a chat just to see what the boys have been up to this last 2 weeks. So sit down, grab your popcorn, grab your coffee, or grab your favourite drink, and listen to this wonderful episode. And hello and welcome to the show, Julian.
Yeah, it's morning.
You say it every time we start. Yeah, it's morning.
That's all I can say about it. I mean, it's early, it's wet outside, it's dreary.
It's really dreary. In fact, we're having a cold blast at the moment. I think the top temperature today is going to be about, 9 degrees, 10 degrees Celsius?
Yeah, but then throw the wind chat factor in.
Oh, there's Ian. G'day, Ian.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm always here. G'day, Dave. G'day, listeners.
All right, guys. What have you guys been up to the last fortnight?
Myself, the only thing I've done was put putty on the panel lines and the wings of the Mustang.
You haven't done much at all.
Not much at all, mate. No,
Yeah.
Just working too hard. Too tired, mate.
No, you poor thing.
Yeah. Yeah, there's been some virus-motivated changes in my workplace too, so things have changed up a bit.
Oh, really?
Which, yeah. And as a result, I didn't touch anything for a week. And then this week, I did tinker away on my, couple of existing projects, monitoring the weather, seeing if it's going to improve enough for me to be bothered going outside to paint, and then going, no, it's looking too wet outside.
Weather's too miserable.
Well, I haven't got as much work done as I hoped. I'm still sort of working along on the Horizon Models kit on the Mercury spacecraft. I've finished doing that little bit on the top, which pulls a capsule off. I don't think it's called the launch tower assembly.
Right.
And what it is, it's like a little rocket on top of the capsule. So if something goes wrong, you hit a button and it pulls your capsule away from the rocket. I followed the instructions, and I found that I had a better way of actually doing it, because the way the instructions would have you assemble it, it makes it a bit difficult to put the trusses, cross beams and trusses on. So
Right.
I had to take a step back and sort of redo that. But no, it's looking really good. I'm not that far off. I've just got to maybe put the little photo etch on for the retro pack that goes in the bottom of the capsule, and then I'm done. Just a spray of matte, and it's all finished. So
well done.
But yeah, I'm like you guys. I haven't got as much done as I wanted to do. Work was extremely busy, unfortunately. I had a big job on last weekend, which took up 4 days of my time. Mm-hmm. And we're still stuck in lockdown now, aren't we?
Oh, yeah.
And we'll be for another at least 3 weeks before they start to ease things, I reckon. So.
Yep, true.
And then
it's quite really dead out there at the moment.
It is. And especially that we got an 8 o'clock curfew as well. You're not supposed to be outside after 8 o'clock. It's
You're not allowed to travel 5 kilometres beyond your home.
Yeah. Well, it's having an effect on the numbers, so that's a positive thing. And
That's all I care about at this point in time.
Yeah, same here, because it's surprising how much you miss. I mean, as much, because with our model club we do Zoom meetings. And as much as that's a load of fun and, you know, giggles and everything every fortnight, you still crave that sort of, you know, being able to sort of actually hang out with each other in real life and have a close look at what everybody else has been building and stuff like
Correct.
that.
Yep.
And not to
Totally
mention the amount of model shows that are still being cancelled and put on hold due to uncertainties.
Yep.
Although I see that the big one over in the US, the IPMS Nationals, let me think now, where is that? In, what's the name of that big city with casino? Las Vegas.
Las Vegas.
Yeah, that's still going ahead next year, which is fantastic news. Gee, it'd be nice to get across there.
It would.
Maybe a bit of a thought for the future.
Yep.
And as much as we've got it in, you know, really bad as well, California, unfortunately, being hit by some massive wildfires at the moment.
Yeah, so I heard.
Which
Nasty
is
business.
unfortunately seen a few people lose their lives, as well as God knows how many houses and properties have been burnt. So that's having gone through our perhaps worst fire season in 10 years, just this summer gone, we can certainly relate and reach out to those people who are going through that at the moment. We exactly know what you're going through, and our thoughts and prayers are certainly with you over there in California.
Yep, definitely.
Anywho, let's talk about fun stuff, shall we?
Yes.
What are they coming here for?
Exactly right. We've got a really exciting announcement, and I teased this out on our last show, but now we can actually officially drop the announcement. And this is for something that's called the Golden Sprue Awards. And the Golden Sprue Awards is a fantastic award that's been set up for all modelers around the world to enter and vote for their favourite new aircraft kit, their best new military vehicle kit, the best new ship kit, best figure, best civilian vehicle, best sci-fi, as well as best paint product, weathering product, and aftermarket product. So really excited to talk a bit more about that. And in fact, I've actually got somebody on the line. So how about we have a listen to what he has to say? And g'day, benchers. And with me, I've got Warren, who hails from Ireland. Hello, Warren.
Hello. Hi, Dave. Nice to talk to you.
Now, you've got a really interesting concept that you've kicked off, and it's being launched, or has just been launched, called the Golden Sprue Awards. What exactly is the Golden Sprue Awards?
Yeah, so firstly, obviously, I'm a scale modeler, and I've enjoyed the hobby for many years, like many of us all have. And during lockdown, instead of working my way through my stash, like any normal scale modeler would, I have created something new. So really, this is an online event, all online, and it's a portal, a website, if you like, that will give scale modelers from all over the world the opportunity for the first time to firstly nominate and then have a chance to vote on what they consider to be the best new kit releases of 2020, along with their nominations and votes for their favourite products, such as paints, weathering products, and aftermarket accessories. So really, it's the concept of this is this is the first one, the Golden Sprue Awards 2020, and really I'm hopeful that this will be popular and will become an annual awards event celebrating everything that's good in the hobby.
Now, we've got about 9 categories. So we've got best new aircraft kit, best new military vehicle, best new ship kit, best new figure kit, best new civilian vehicle kit, best new sci-fi kit, best product paint product, best weathering product, and best aftermarket product.
Yeah, so in creating the categories for this first year, I've tried to cover all subject matters so that there is something for interest for everybody, whether your particular interest is ships or aircraft or military vehicles. Really, the categories have been set up in such a way that everybody will have an interest in a particular category, and people can nominate or vote in one particular category, or they can nominate in all 9.
Wow, that's fantastic. Now, it's actually going to be open in 12 days and 10 hours and 23 minutes.
Yeah, so there's a little countdown on. Yeah, there's a little countdown. So really, there's 2 phases to the event. The first phase, when the event officially launches on the 1st of September. During the month of September, scale hobby enthusiasts, anybody involved in the scale modelling hobby, will be able to come to the site, and during the month of September, will be able to submit their nominations all online. It's all automated. And at the end of September, then, the top nominations will be shortlisted and populated into the pools for each category. And then again, scale modelers are invited then to come to the site during October to cast their vote on the shortlists for each category. Then at the end of October, all of the votes will be collated, and we will announce the winners in each category in the middle of November.
So there's no membership requirement or anything like that, or fees, so anybody can just head over and vote and nominate their best new kit for 2020 or their best new paint or weathering product, can't they?
Yep. So the kit categories are all targeted at best new kit releases this year. So it's really the modeler's opportunity to recognise, celebrate or give applaudit to those companies they feel that have released an excellent product this year. It could be something that you have been keeping an eye on for years. It could be a new subject matter that you've always been waiting for. It could be something that you've recently built and you really enjoyed. And then the paint and the weathering and the aftermarket categories, those are not restricted to new product releases. And really the thought there was, when you go on the internet, how many times do you see people looking and searching on the internet, what is the best paint? So this is the opportunity for the hobby community to nominate and cast a vote for their favourite paints and weathering products and accessories.
Absolutely. Is there any hook for anybody who votes?
Yeah, so as you said, this is completely free. There's no requirement to sign up as a member to any site. There is no fees. There's nothing to pay. The site is free of adverts, so you're not going to be spammed with adverts. I have got some support from within the industry, so you will see quite a number of companies have supported the event because they recognise it's something quite unique and never been done before in this sector. So other than that, there's absolutely no requirement to join. As you say, there's no forum. It's not a review site. But what the companies and manufacturers have done, because they recognise this is a celebration of the year, so they have put forward very kindly and generously put forward some prizes. So people who do nominate and vote in the awards, optionally by entering their email address, they will be entered into a free prize draw at the end of the event. And there are kits, airbrushes, paint products, aftermarket products. So there's a wide range of prizes there. And in fact, one of the companies who have supported the event have manufactured a special limited edition Golden Sprue stand, which is a nice quirky little element. And again, it's a recognition of it's a recognition of the celebration around this, and we have 30 of those to give away. So something that's useful for the scale modeler. Keep your sprues stored and safe on your bench.
Terrific. Now, where can people go to actually have a look at the Golden Sprue Awards webpage?
Yep. So the website is now live at goldenssprueawards.com. And in fact, for your listeners, they can begin to nominate from Saturday the 22nd. So as a little bonus for your listeners, they can go now and start to nominate and have a look around the site and hopefully enjoy the event.
And you've also got a Facebook page as well?
Yep, so we have a Facebook page and a Twitter page. So I would certainly encourage those who do come along to the site and enjoy the concept and recognise that it's something different. Please do share it amongst your friends on your Twitter feeds and on your Facebook feeds so that more people can discover the event.
Terrific. Now, Warren,
Yep.
you said you're a model builder yourself. What do you mainly build in?
So I would, I guess I dabble in most subject matters, but I guess my favourite is aircraft. I've worked since an apprentice for an aircraft company, so naturally my interest has always been aircraft. I don't have a particular favourite era. I may lean slightly towards Cold War era jet aircraft, because I think during that period that was really the golden period of aviation, where the boundaries were pushed. And I just feel it was a really exciting time with some beautiful jet aircraft designs.
Any particular scale, or you're just happy building whatever scale aircraft comes in?
Typically 1/72nd, 1/48 scale. Haven't ventured into 1/32nd scale as yet, but typically 72nd and 48 scale.
Well, we're going to have to see if we can get you interested in building a ship soon, just to round out your modelling education.
Absolutely. Oh, there's one thing I forgot.
Sure.
To, just when we were talking about the categories. So yes, there are 9 categories, but as part of the awards, when I crunched the numbers at the end of October, the kit that goes on to receive the most votes across all categories will also receive an award for the best overall kit release of 2020.
Wow, that sounds exciting.
So I mean, the manufacturers are very excited about the event. This is an opportunity for them to showcase their new products, to engage with the community, perhaps in a way that has never been done before. And I've obviously been very keen to ensure that it's not just the mainstream manufacturers that are represented in this event, but also, this is an opportunity for the community to nominate those specialist niche brands that perhaps they enjoy. And through this event, I hope that scale modelers will discover new brands and products. And
in this upside down world that's 2020, this is a fantastic initiative, and you should be congratulated for kicking this off. The website looks really cool, actually.
Yeah, it's as I say, it's all been created by myself. So in the last 3 months, I guess, well, really since lockdown started, I've learned how to build a website. I've learned how to do graphic design. So it's taught me a lot.
Well, they say idle hands.
That's it. So it's been very enjoyable pulling it together and being able to contact and talk to people like yourself who have shown an interest, and I'm very grateful for that. And I really do hope that the community enjoy this. Fantastic.
What we might do, we might get in contact with you, say, halfway through, just to see how things are tracking, and you can sort of report back to our listeners as to how things are going. How's that sound?
Yeah, that would be absolutely fantastic. And I know from listening to the podcast that you get a lot of listener mail. So perhaps I'd welcome some of the comments that are maybe fed back through yourself once this is listened to by your listeners, and they may have a view, and it would certainly be good to hear their comments on it.
Yeah, absolutely. No problem with that whatsoever. That'd be great. All right,
Yeah.
Warren. Well, thank you very much. And as I said, we'll touch base with you in a couple of weeks just to see how things are tracking. But in the meantime, get yourselves over to www.goldensprue that's all in one word, .com, or just type in Golden Sprue Awards on Facebook, and that will take you to the Golden Sprue Awards page there as well. Warren, thanks very much for coming on the show, and we'll talk to you again in about a fortnight.
Yep, Dave, great. Look forward to it, and talk to you soon.
No worries. And get voting, guys. So that sounds like a really cool concept, and I hope everybody gets behind it. And, of course, we're supporting it, the Golden Sprue Awards. So as was mentioned just then, go along to the website or the Facebook page and start voting. And, of course, there's some great prizes there as well. So it's another little sort of incentive for you to get over there and perhaps cast your vote as well.
Yeah.
While we're on new announcements, also, Stuart from the Scale Model Podcast has just announced that they're doing the Great Modelers Survey 2020.
Yes.
Which very excited to hear about, and also to perhaps see what the results of that are going to be.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see the results.
Yeah. Well, I've put my views in, so
I've already done mine as well, so that should be really good.
Yeah, definitely agree.
Gee, I'm just trying to quickly find, I haven't got the actual address lined up so I can announce it. Let me have a quick look here, and maybe you guys can have a bit of a chat while
Dave's watching.
No,
Dave's trying to find things.
Well, I'm trying to find it, yeah.
Yeah, so with the Mustang, I decided to accuratise the Edward Mustang by putting up all the panel lines on the wings.
May as well. I mean,
yeah. So I found some nice pictures of and illustrations on which panel lines were puttied. So they've all been done, and just a matter of sanding them down this afternoon. And
so which
the next step?
Because I believe that there's a few different ways that people sort of argue back and forward on this issue.
Yeah, that's right.
Which one did you decide to go with?
Well, I went with basically nearly all the panel lines except for the main ones that are surrounding the doors for the ammo.
Yep. The gun access panels. Yeah.
Gun access panels. All the other panels, bar your little access round panels and oval panels, have all been puttied up.
What about the one that separates off the wingtip?
The one from the wingtip, no.
Yeah, I mean, that's I've heard that's a good one to leave.
That one you got to leave, yes, yeah. So basically, you leave that one, and when you see your gun access panels, there's two of them. There's a long one and a short one. Well, there's two panel lines that run from there to the back of the wing. You got to leave those panel lines, and they're the only ones. Every other one, putty up. And it doesn't take long. Doesn't take long.
Might get you just to move your microphone a bit closer to yourself there, Ian.
Oh, it's because I was talking away from it, Dave. How's that any better?
It's much better, thanks.
To be honest, I think you just need to make sure you're facing towards it.
Yeah, I should just hold it in my freaking hand then.
Or just put it in front of where you speak. Put it up on your modelling desk, maybe.
Yeah, there you go. Is that better?
A bit muffled.
Muffled?
Yeah, because
right in front of me. I can't win, can I?
No, that's perfect. Right there, that's perfect.
Keep it on the desk, but just make sure that you're facing it rather than not facing it.
Yep. Okay.
Jeez, we've done 90 podcast episodes and he still can't talk into a microphone.
Well, it's not that. I'll defend his honour.
Thanks, Julian. Someone has to. Oh, damn, I'm out of tea.
Oh, okay. Well, before we think about having a quick break so you can get some more tea, I've got the link for the Great 2020 Modelling Survey, which is now open, and you can get there by going to www.scalemodelpodcast.com/2020 survey. And if you still can't find it, we've put a link on our Facebook page. And, of course, if you go across to the Scale Model Podcast Facebook page, there's also a link there as well, and no doubt on their webpage as well.
Groovy.
Right, so you need to go and refill your tea, do you, Ian?
Yeah.
Okay, how about we have a word from our sponsor, and while we're listening to that, we can go and get some coffee and a few other little things as well. Back shortly.
Sounds like a plan.
The Scale Modeler Supply. Certified Australian-made, the Scale Modeler Supply has created a comprehensive range of premium acrylic lacquer paints that have been specifically developed to cater for the scale modeler. Designed to use straight from the bottle, SMS paints have taken all the guesswork out of airbrushing. Simply shake the durable glass bottle and pour and spray for a fast-drying and extremely durable result. The ever-growing range of SMS paints will suit all types of model builders, be it military, aircraft, train, car, science fiction or Gunpla. SMS premium acrylic lacquer paints will have the colour to suit you. The Modeler Supply is also your one-stop shop for all weathering, brushes, masking, tools and other accessory needs. SMS paints and tools and accessories are available either directly from their website, www.scalemodeler.com.au, or through stockists across Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, and the USA. And as a special bonus exclusive to our On The Bench listeners, you will get 10% off your next order by using the promo code OTB2020 when ordering direct from the Scale Modeler. So go now to www.scalemodeler.com.au and place your order. We know you won't be disappointed. Okay, so we are all back now. You got your cup of tea there, Ian?
I have. I'm ready to rock and roll.
And I've got my lovely cup of coffee, so here we go. Listen to mail. We've got quite a few. The mailbag is groaning as usual. And
Good.
The first one came from David Waples, who wrote in, "Hi Dave, as usual, enjoyed your show. Don't remember anybody discussing this upcoming release from Verifier. They're releasing a 1/700th scale USS Missouri, and the initial artwork looks good. Something from the Joy Yard as well, but didn't look as sharp as this one. So there you go. That's interesting.
Definitely.
There's lots of news. And in fact, it's funny, the Falcon wrote in with his usual bag of new stuff as well. So we'll have a listen to that as well.
Yep.
Jay Meeks wrote in, "Hi, this is primarily for Julian in regards to his 1/72nd armour builds. I saw a post where you'd won first place for a tank that you built at one of the shows that you mentioned. I believe you said something to the effect that you only build really good kits, and that made me wonder what brands you look for. And should I assume that these would be newer releases from the last 5 to 10 years? Thanks for your input. P.S. Had some trouble with my Patreon account, but you guys should have me back on the list in the next few days. Keep up the good work. Really enjoy the show." And thanks for that, Jay Meeks. Yes, we have got you back on the list as a Patreon, so that's fantastic. Julian, what do you reckon?
Yeah, so I do buy kits that are fairly recent. That's not to say that there aren't older kits that are really good that I would also happily build. Also, there's no guarantee that newer kits are definitely an upgrade. So you got to be careful. So a lot of the 72nd scale armor kits that I've built so far are from Trumpeter. A lot of their kits are fairly good in 72nd scale. They tend to put quite a bit of effort in. Maybe not as much effort as, say, Tackham, because they're starting to become quite well known for their 72nd scale armor.
Yep.
But Trumpeter are no slouch. It just means that I won't build, old Revel 72nd scale armor kits, stuff from, I don't know, Airfix or something like that. Those old clunky kits from the 70s.
You got to love the old Matchbox ones with the diorama base.
I don't have to do any of that. I refuse.
I reckon with some really decent skills, you could make one of those look really good, I reckon.
Yeah, but I could also wait until someone releases one that's better, and then I don't have to apply those skills.
Yes, true.
Didn't you just enter that tank just to prove something, though? You're on a real sort of proving thing, and you purposely...
Yeah, well, at the time, because I judged that category the year prior, and I was really disappointed with the level of work in that category. And I thought, well, if I put in not even a huge amount of effort, just an average amount of effort, right? I'll either take first place or anyone who beats me, actually put some effort in. That's how I sort of saw it.
Yep.
And if I ended up winning, then it meant that other people might see it and go, well, I need to lift my game.
And, of course, you end up winning first prize.
Yeah.
Oh, well done.
I mean, I felt that I was going to win either way. Like, either I was going to sort of light a fire under some people's asses or take the win myself, right? So it's no big deal.
There you go.
I definitely don't have as much. I didn't have as much sort of personally invested in it.
Yep.
So, like if I was trying for like 48 scale aircraft or 35th scale armor, I mean, those are very, very competitive categories.
Right. Yeah, that's where you really got to lift your game.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm not sure if I pulled out all the stops, I'm not sure if I'd enjoy the build as much.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I really, really went try hard.
Yep.
I mean, I can sort of. It just means that my sort of descent up the skill tree is slower because I'm only making small improvements rather than rapid, large ones. But that's fine. That's the pace I want to take.
Yeah.
Mm. Next letter comes from Steve Liu, who writes, "Hello on the bench team. I'm a loyal listener who would like to check in with an expression of thanks and a question that I think that you and your globally dispersed audience might be able to help out with. First of all, the thanks. You have all been loyal modelling companions during these last few months of social distancing. I listen to On the Bench and also the Canadian Kentuckian podcasters whenever I'm at the bench, and your information, modelling insights and banter help make my time at the bench a true escape from a stressful world. So to the question, humidity. What are your strategies for coping with it during painting? After years of kitchen tables, dining trays and dark basement corners, I'm now doing my modelling in the largest, best equipped space I've ever had in my newish home on the Delaware shore, which, by the way, is not far from Virginia. Another secret Virginian, where I used to live. My new bench is in my garage where the temperature is comfortable year-round, but as a resident of the Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, Chesapeake Bay area knows, the humidity is quite high for about 2 to 3 months of the year. And as a result, the garage tends to be humid as well. My impression from overhearing several decades worth of my kids watching endless streams of Steve Irwin goanna chasing in Australia, that is also humid. I suspect that modelers in such places as Singapore, Vietnam and Hong Kong also have thoughts on extreme humidity in painting as well. Do you just not paint during the worst humidity? Do you adjust your air pressure, thinning ratios, and all the time between coats? Do you use some kind of super-powered moisture trap and or light box drying oven? I'd like to exhaust the technique and equipment options before appealing to the local zoning board, also known as my wife, to move the new awesome bench into the air-conditioned habitable zone of our house. Thanks again. Keep on talking about modelling and stay safe. And that's from Steve in Delaware. All right, guys, what are your thoughts on painting in high humidity areas?
Well, I just don't. But we don't get all that many high humidity days down here in Melbourne anyway.
No, we don't.
So the odd day where it's really hot and humid, well, I just do something else.
So to be clear, like down here in Melbourne, we don't get much humidity. We generally get dry heat.
Yep.
We get very few we get a few spring days that are really humid. But most of the humid areas are up north, where
Yeah.
Steve Irwin used to, stomp around.
Mm.
I have friends up there who are modelers, and they tell stories of clouds indoors in their modeling room. And if there's clouds indoors, I guess he must either work around them to some degree or put up with it.
Mm.
I mean, there are modelers across Southeast Asia, which is known for being humid, right? So
Yep.
it can't be that bad. Worst case scenario, I suppose you could always get an air conditioner. I mean, the whole purpose of an air conditioner, isn't it, is to take moisture out of the air.
Yes, it is.
And that's the only thing I can think of is if you've got
Problem is air conditioners aren't cheap.
Yeah, well, you can pick up a second-hand one fairly cheaply. And
Yeah, but then you got to pay for someone to install it.
oh, you can do it yourself. You've got those ones where you just sort of shove them in the window and just plug it into
The old window, the old box rattlers.
Yeah. And if he's got a dedicated sort of modelling shed, you could do that quite easily. That'd be my way to go. That's what I'd be thinking about doing.
And another thing too, if he's got a shed and it's dedicated to modelling, chuck some insulation in the walls too.
Yeah, absolutely. So we can't help you too much with our experience because, as the boys have already said, we don't get a lot of high humidity days down here, and because it's far and few between, we just don't spray. But certainly there's a lot of listeners who do have high humidity areas that they live in. So I'd be interested to hear what they've got to say. Drop us a line at onthebench64@gmail.com and let us know how you cope with high humidity and painting.
Yes.
Next one comes from Ethan, who is the webmaster for IPMS San Diego, and Ian's a long-time listener. And he says, "G'day, benchers. I enjoyed listening to the previous episode regarding what you would not build. Years ago, I decided that life was too short for raised panel lines, among other things, so I can agree with the sentiment that bad kits are not worth my time. In fact, as time has progressed and I've realised that, as it is, I'll need to live for around 250 years to finish all of my kits that are in the stash.
I know exactly how he feels.
I've become even more picky, focusing more and more on armour, sci-fi and ships and less on aircraft and figures. Moreover, even with those subjects, I've realised that I only want to spend my time on those specific subjects that I really want to build. The point of this is, however, that this is a hobby and is meant for enjoyment, and our personal choices regarding what we will or won't build by definition then become almost entirely subjective. This doesn't mean I don't appreciate artistry involved in building those things that I don't build. On the contrary, one thing I enjoy at shows is looking and appreciating the modelling subjects that I don't typically build." Ethan then goes on to say that in the last episode, in which you mentioned your most disappointing modelling experience, he has one, and the first model he built with glue was a Revell USS Pennsylvania in 1/720 scale. When he was 8 years old, he had such fond memories of that he actually went and found a kit on eBay and bought it, hoping to relive the simpler modelling days of his youth. Oh, jeez. Ethan again goes on to say, regarding why we build again, I find it a very personal answer and one that changes from person to person. For me, there are several reasons. First, I enjoy building things. By profession, I'm a software engineer and I spend my working days building things virtually and writing code. In my off time, therefore, the tactile experience of physically building a model kit is a welcome change. Second, I build things from subject matter that I'm interested in. A model is a way for me to have a shelf piece of history or a science fiction franchise which I find fascinating. And third, my wife has Huntington's disease, and as I am her primary caregiver, which is extremely stressful, I find that model building is a very welcome respite from not only work but from my caregiving duties. Thanks again for a great podcast. All the best, Ethan. Well, Ethan, our hearts go out to you in regards to your wife and her disease in the first instance, and I do have a couple of friends who are also primary caregivers for their partners as well, and I know how much of a huge effort it is to be placed in that position. And it's great that Ethan can actually use his hobby as a way of just shedding some of that stress, which is that not part of what modelling is, though, also?
Yeah, well, depending what model you're building.
Yeah, well, that's a good part. Oh, geez, okay. Next one comes from Eric Semalaya, and Eric writes, "Hello, gentlemen. Still loving what you do. Have been going back through old episodes that I haven't heard. It will be a shame when I have heard them all. My question today is about aftermarket parts. I've looked for aftermarket parts for every kit in my stash in Scalemates, and I never know how to buy a detail set that I'm confident will fit. In addition to that, even if I do find one that seems to work, it is very rare that Scalemates has a recommendation where to buy it. Can you give us some tips about aftermarket, like the best things to detail on 1/48 scale 72nd aircraft, the best things to detail on armour, how to know if an aftermarket set will work for your kit, and the best place to buy aftermarket parts? And one additional question is about aftermarket tracks for armour. Fruy model tracks are just too expensive, and I don't mind building individual link plastics tracks. So, guys, what do you reckon on that one? So, it's... First of all, you have to question, do you actually want to go down that track for aftermarket parts? What are you actually looking to get out of your kit would be the first thing that comes to mind for me. What about you guys?
Yeah, I'd rather. I'm at a point now where I used to go nuts over all the aftermarket, and I still have to resist that temptation sometimes. But generally speaking, there's something really refreshing about just building it out of the box, provided the kit doesn't have too many weak points. You know, I mean, tracks are nice, and they certainly improve some kits, but not every kit. You know, like a lot of Dragon kits have really nice tracks if they're individual link. You know, it's nice to be able to see the hollow guide horns on a lot of Russian tanks, modern Russian tanks.
Yeah.
But other than that, I kind of wonder how necessary it really is. You know, also when you're buying the aftermarket tracks, sometimes you don't get enough.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like sometimes they only give you the exact amount. They give you no spares.
Oh,
and if you get one that's slightly mismolded or something like that, then you're going to have to fix that one.
Yeah, you will, yes.
Or hide it somewhere.
Yeah, usually it's hiding it.
Yeah.
Under a blob of mud.
I've heard good things about Master Club tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Robert, who we've had on the podcast a number of times, has said very good things about them. They have, I believe, metal ones as well as, I think, resin ones, or was it plastic ones? I can't remember which it is, but he had very good things to say about them. And he wouldn't bother going for them unless they were not that expensive.
Mm.
I think with any additional stuff that you buy for your kit, you always run the risk that it won't fit the model as well, and I guess that comes down to
most aftermarket kits though will specify what plastic kit they were made for.
Yes.
So if you buy like something that says it's for Academy and you're trying to throw it into something that's like Hasegawa, there's a good chance it ain't going to fit.
Yeah, that's a good point. With cockpits particularly, because obviously different manufacturers have different thickness to how thick they mold the fuselage.
Correct. Yep.
Tracks on the other hand, you would think that they tend to be a bit more universal, but not always the case. Some kits are just so crappy that you won't be able to get those tracks to actually fit onto the idlers and the sprockets.
Right.
Another good source of finding out how well aftermarket parts work for you is going and checking out some of the forums that are around. And most forums have a section in progress. And that's where people who are building the actual kits post how they're working through the build of their kit. And they post pictures and also comments about how it's going. A lot of those guys actually will use aftermarket stuff, and some in fact won't. But it's a great guide to see what any sort of pitfalls or trip points there are along the way, and also gives you a good idea as to what aftermarket part you may or may want to actually use. I mean, this is the thing about aircraft kits, for example, particularly when you're starting to get down to scales of like 1/72nd. I'm just really questioning whether you actually, unless you're having the cockpit open, I really question the need to then go and dive in and do a lot of aftermarket stuff inside the cockpit, because it's all going to get closed up. You're not going to see it anyway.
Yeah. So with me, with 48 scale aircraft, for example, I look for cockpit upgrades, exhausts, and wheels. And they're the three major things. If I'm not too happy with the kit versions, I'll get aftermarket.
Yeah. Again, it comes down to what you're trying to achieve. If you're wanting to go for that museum quality or master builder quality, yes, by all means, go for it. But so many kits come out these days, particularly the most recent sort of modern ones, and you got everything you want in it anyway. It's a standout kit just by itself, straight out of the box.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, it just comes down to it. Well, thanks for that email. It was a good question, actually. DD writes in next, and hello, benches. This one's directed at Ian. Oh. Dear Ian, just an update on my relationship with your friend Photo Etch. I decided to take the plunge after convincing myself that maybe I was just being afraid of trying something new. So after searching through countless dating websites, i.e. Scalemates, to find the best friend for a beginner like myself, I found and sent away for Photo Etch for the 1/35th scale Tamiya Kettengrad.
Yep.
That I had in my stash. I also purchased a small Photo Etch bender. Thus I was ready, or so I thought. My new relationship has raised several questions. Firstly, how is it best prepared for painting, i.e. the PE? I was told Tamiya metal primer. Is that correct? And secondly, is super glue the best adhesive for it? I can see that it's going to take a lot more attention for me if this friendship is going to work. Hopefully, to paraphrase Bogart, Ian, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful relationship.
And it will be. Now, first of all, when it comes to painting Photo Etch, I used to just throw the paint straight over the top. Didn't bother me. But I have recently purchased myself from Guns Mr. Metal Primer R. And basically, this is just like a little bottle with a brush in it, and you just brush it over the top, and it's like an etch primer.
Yours has a brush in it?
I'm pretty sure it looks like it.
I opened it up. And
no,
there's
it doesn't.
On the lid.
No, it doesn't. You're right. No brush. But you just use any brush. And yeah, this stuff's meant to be really good. It's got a lot of people have recommended it to me. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm going to give it a go.
So I've tried it, and it's good for if you've got a piece of Photo Etch that is probably going to get handled a little bit, and the flexing is enough to make the paint crack and chip off it.
Fly off it, yep.
Yeah, it's good for that. But if you're just sticking it down on something flat or whatever, you don't really need it. As long as you're not, treating it roughly.
Sorry, what's this called again?
It's
Mr. Metal Primer.
Mr. Metal Primer.
Mr. Metal Primer R.
Okay.
And like I said, a lot of people have recommended it. I haven't tried it yet, but I've got a bottle here, so I'm going to give it a go.
Well, I can tell you that once you've put it on, it will forever remain tacky, right? So if you keep waiting, nothing will happen. So once it's tacky, it's done.
Yep.
And you should just prime over it with the way you normally. Well, I prime when I paint normally, right? But you just throw paint straight over the top, right?
I get how it works.
And then after that, you don't have to worry about it being too tacky or anything. So I try to skip straight to the priming stage as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm. With glues, I use, and I still swear by it, Loctite 406 for Photo Etch.
I just use super glue. But if you're a beginner to Photo Etch, the most important thing is portioning, to make sure you don't use too much super glue.
Just tiny bits. Once
you get a handle on that, your Photo Etch work will look clean.
And if you're doing the really, really tiny bits, then you've got to start using the, what's it called?
Gator grip.
Gator grip. That's a great glue for doing tiny little photo etch bits.
So Gator grip's really good for attaching your PE to the model, particularly if you're doing like railings and that type of stuff, for actually making sure that the PE, if you're doing a fold, for example, or gluing two bits of PE together, then definitely the super glue option, the Loctite 406 or whatever your favourite super glue is. But for attaching the parts to the kit, I'd definitely be looking at the Gator grip.
Yeah, because the good thing with most super glues, once it sticks, it's stuck there for good. But with Gator grip, you've got a little bit of time to manoeuvre. Yeah.
And if you don't like it, you can always pry it off quite easily as well.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go, DD. Hope that's answered your question. Next one, we have Kyle from Indiana. And Kyle writes in, "G'day, benchers. Hope you're all well and safe. I've been a loyal listener since I found you guys about episode 10 and look forward to every episode per fortnight. I have to finally step up and defend Julian. I have never made an engine or gun sounds with my finished models. I was an aircraft mechanic for many years on B-52Hs, business jets, and light prop planes." Oh, gee, I bet Kyle could tell some stories about B-52s. Wow, that's awesome. He goes on and mostly build aircraft models with the occasional Bandai Star Wars kit to break it up. Being a salty old mechanic, I like to build them as I saw them. Wheels down, flaps up, and all buttoned up. If I were to reproduce the noises I heard around the old birds, it would mostly be non-stop swear words with the occasional dirty joke thrown in. I swear enough as I build, so I don't feel the need to do it anymore when I'm finished. Thanks again for all the laughs and insights. That's from Kyle, Indiana, USA. Well,
see, my dad was a mechanic, so maybe that's the missing link, and that's the reason why.
Oh, maybe it is. Oh, well, there you go.
Could be.
Oh, okay. Let's have a look. And the last one that came in was from Jerry O'Hara. And Jerry hails from Cincinnati, Ohio. And he just got back into modelling over the quarantine period. And he's been working on, I think it's a Revell 1/200 scale USS George Washington, which is a SSBN. And he's run into a few issues he's hoping that we could help him with. And he's having issues with a paint. And he's using Tester's paint, which is drying in his brushes, as he doesn't have an airbrush at the moment. He's tried washing them in water, which was a crap idea and should not be repeated.
No, you don't use water. You don't use water and oil-based enamels.
So how does he actually work with painting it by brush? Any thoughts?
All right, Testers. It's enamel. Get the paint warm. The best way to do that is get a little saucepan with I don't know, a finger's depth worth of water in there. Put it on the stove. Get it just to the point of boiling. Put your pot of paint in there. Leave it in there for a few minutes. Take it out. Give your paint a shake. It'll be nice, smooth, warm, and it'll flow like water.
Well, there you go. Or move away from using enamels.
But there's some place in the States that's all you can get.
Oh, there's internet, though. You can get stuff over the internet.
Yeah.
You don't have to just go for enamels. I mean, obviously, if you got them and you're comfortable working with them, sure, go ahead. But see, this is the other thing, too. I mean, we're quite happy to spend, 60, 70, 80, $100 on a model kit. And that's how much a paintbrush, or half-decent sort of airbrush costs these days, without the compressor, obviously. So,
it's a big investment.
Well, it is and it isn't. I mean, as I said, a kit costs $100. I mean, some kits cost $200. So,
I know.
If you're spending that sort of money on a kit, rather than buy the next kit, use the money that you were going to buy that kit to go and buy an airbrush, and then also use the next amount of money that you're going to spend in the following month on a air compressor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that the air compressor is actually probably, if you're trying to do everything on the cheap, it's probably the more expensive item.
True.
Out of between the compressor and the airbrush itself. You can get super cheap airbrushes out there. It's no problem.
Yeah.
You can pick up airbrushes
Basically,
for about $20, $20, $30 US. The knockoff ones out of China.
Yeah. They work. They work great for a beginner.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah. And with airbrushes, you can spray anything. You can spray enamels, acrylics. It just works.
Yep.
Well, that's my thought anyway. So, there you go.
There you go.
Well, that's all we got from our listener bag. So, of course, again, as usual, if you ever want to get in touch with us or you have any questions, comments, you can do so by dropping us a line to onthebench64@gmail.com. And, of course, we love hearing from you, all things good and bad, and especially Julian, don't you?
Yeah.
Sure.
That's it.
Oh, gosh. All right, how about we have another quick break and we'll have a look at what's new in the modelling world. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
All right, back very shortly.
Smoke break.
Fine Scale Modeller is the world's most recognised and essential magazine for modellers and is available in all good newsagents and newsstands or wherever you purchase your magazines. Alternatively, go to their website www.finescale.com and subscribe to either a print edition or their digital edition. Go now. Go to www.finescale.com. Okay, and we're back to have a talk about what's new in the modelling world. And first up, Revell have got their announcements for August. The first one is in 176 scale. Gee, that's harking back to the old days. They're doing a A34 Comet Mark 1. And this looks like it's a rebox of the old Matchbox kit because it comes with a diorama base. What do you reckon, guys?
It's very similar, isn't it? Yeah. It's very. I wonder if it is. Actually, did Matchbox ever bring out that kit?
I don't know. But it certainly harks back to the days of Matchbox, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Where you get that little diorama base.
176 scale. Gee, it's so odd these days to even talk about 176 scale.
Yeah.
Anyway, there you go.
Very basic looking kit though.
Yeah. I
It's
imagine
like one piece track by the looks of it.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it'll. Some of the guys who are building that scale will be particularly happy about that. Next, in 135th scale, they've announced a Leopard 1A5, which is a modified Leopard 1. This is what I hate about Revell. Their pictures are just so, I don't know, basic. I'd rather if Revell was showing their kits and just showing bare plastic rather than painted up, because when they paint their kits up, it just doesn't look that good. But that's just my opinion anyway.
I agree. They've gotten better than they used to be. But, I think the black to white gradient they put in that background doesn't really do it any favors.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why they do that. It just doesn't look
They
good.
should stick to the proper colour, blue.
Yes, they should do. In the 172nd scale, they've announced a combat set which has a Messerschmitt ME262 and a P51B Mustang in 172nd scale. I don't think that the Revell have ever done a double kit release before, so this is interesting.
That harkens the old dogfight double days of Airfix.
It does indeed, doesn't it? Having said that, the pictures of the kit, once again painted, they don't look too bad actually for 172nd scale.
Yeah. I'm just looking at. I'm actually looking at the built kit on the web page, and how's a pilot going to get in and out of the aircraft? They've puttied up the canopy.
Yeah, they have. Yeah.
Very bizarre.
Oh.
Very bizarre.
If you like large scale kits, they're also doing a Hawker Tempest 5 in 132nd scale. Now, I suspect that this might be a new release rather than perhaps a rebox. Oh, no, beg your pardon. This kit is actually a reboxing of the special Hobby Tempest kit. Well, there you go. I was wrong.
Yeah, I had a feeling it would be. Yeah.
Yeah, the detail's just a bit too refined, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, having said that, I've recently purchased a V2 from Revell and in 1/72 scale, and I'm quite pleased with the amount of detail that's in there, actually. So,
look, some of the Revell later offerings haven't been too bad at kits.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be interesting to see what whether if it's a reboxing the special hobby kit, why would you bother buying it?
Because it'd be a lot cheaper than the special hobby kit.
Oh, okay. All right, there you go.
It'd be a lot cheaper than the special hobby kit. I can guarantee you that.
Also, it might have some better schemes in it. Maybe some better decals. And it might be in stock.
Yeah, well, that's a point too, I guess. Yeah. Yep. Next up in 1/48 scales, a Tornado GR4 in the farewell scheme. This is a celebrates the 35th years of continuous service by Number 31 Squadron RAF. And the RAF treated the GR4 in a very colourful special livery that was dominated by a golden star on the tail, which is part of the squadron badge. Features include separate moving wing flaps, movable swing wings, and of course the 2019 farewell version livery or decals. Oh, there you go.
Not bad for the modern jets.
You know, I've got a Tornado in my stash.
Oh, there you go.
I don't know why I got it. I think I won it in a club meet, in a club raffle.
All right, yep.
Yeah, that's sitting in there. Next up in 1/72 scale, there's an F-16 in Tiger Meat decals.
Look, Belgian Air Force.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's based on the Klein Brogel in Belgium, took part in the Tiger Meat in 2018. Features include detailed cockpit and wing tanks. We just got a friend in our club who loves building F-16s, so I wonder whether that would sort of grab him.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, no, it'd be wrong scale for him.
Ah, okay. Next in 1/44 scale is a US Navy landing ship medium. Yeah, nice, but the wrong scale, unfortunately for me.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
This is the a rebox of a previous kit.
Yeah.
The previous one had the different scheme.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Julian, actually.
Yeah, because I was eyeballing it at one point.
It comes with authentic Bofors 40mm anti-aircraft gun. I mean, how could it be authentic in that scale? Well, anyway. Also display stand and camouflage instructions, as well as authentic representation of the following versions. The USS LSM 399, which was in 1954 with the US Navy. You've got the colours and livery and decals from the Hellenic Navy, 1958, which is the XLSM 399. You've got one that was in the Asiatic Pacific Theatre, and it got one battle star for its World War II service. Next up in 1/25 scale is a 62 Shelby Cobra 289. And Ian, I watched the movie the other day, Ford versus Ferrari.
Oh, yeah.
I loved it. I thought it was a really good movie.
It's a great movie, isn't it?
Yeah, loved it.
Really good movie. Really good movie.
What are your thoughts on the 1/25 scale Shelby?
About bloody time. The only way I could have ever gotten myself, I do have one in the collection, a 289 Cobra.
Yeah.
It's the old AMT kit. And it's been sitting in my stash for about 20 years because every time I open the box, I shudder and shake.
Oh, really?
Whereas I'm looking at the sprue shots of this and going, well, Revell, looks like you're going to get some of my money.
Well, to be honest, it's probably not that newer kit, but it's probably newer than AMT.
Oh, the AMT kit's a shocker.
I think they've had a boxing of this in the past, or at least a version, a slightly different version.
Revell has been, Revell bought out the fourth. Actually, I'm just looking at it. It's incorrect. It is so incorrect. It's actually a 427 body. No, sorry, Ravel, you're not getting the money now. They've put it's a 427 body. It's got the big side pipes. It's got the oil scoop at the front. The nose is the wrong shape. Nah, it's not a 289 Cobra, fellas. Sorry.
Oh, wow. It is just absolutely pouring with hail where I am at the moment, and I'm not really
so that
too
means
sure.
We'll cop it in 5 minutes.
Can you guys actually hear me?
Yeah.
It is that loud. It's amazing.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on, shall we? Mung have announced in 1/9 scale a Kawasaki Ninja H2, which is pre-coloured. Meng's new pre-coloured version of the amazing Kawasaki Ninja H2 road legal superbike in 1/9 scale is ready to hit the shops. This special edition has the parts moulded or painted in the correct colour and chrome. The kit comes in snap-together form, meaning that it will look as promising as a real thing once you put it together. Pre-coloured kits can be difficult to make real, so, I don't know. I'm looking at this and had a look through it and had a look through the pre-coloured kit. And like the frame, for example, on the original bike is like this sort of greeny colour. And I don't know whether the pre-coloured plastic matches the real sort of chromate green that is in the real life motorcycle.
Well, looking at it, looks pretty close, Dave. It's a metallic green.
Yeah. You sure?
I'm really impressed with the chrome.
Yes.
They've done a great job on the chrome.
They have.
And on the aluminium look. The tank itself is amazing.
The interesting thing is in this scale, 1/9, it's all snapped together as well.
Yeah.
So
this to me is a going on holidays kit.
Oh, that's a good thought.
If you're going somewhere on holidays and you really, really have to be there and you don't want to, you take this kit with you and you just build it. You don't need glue. You don't need paint. You just put it together.
Yeah, I'll hold my thoughts until I see someone actually build it and see what it looks like. Next up, this is a new one that we've spoken about, and we've got some more details on it now. Suyata, if I pronounce that right, Suyata. I'm not very good with Japanese names. Suyata. Anyway, they're doing a 1/48 scale Panther 5. And this comes with full interior.
In 1/48 scale? Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
We're seeing some drawings of what the interior actually is going to look like now. And for those of you who absolutely love doing the interior of your tanks, although, as Ian sort of mentioned, the scale's a bit odd for armour, this is certainly going to be something that is really going to get your juices flowing.
Well, 1/48 scale armor is pretty popular now anyway.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's that popular. It's more like everyone likes buying Tamiya kits, and Tamiya make most of the 48 scale armor kits.
Yeah, you got a point there. Yep.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
But it looks nice.
And it would be good against your 1/48 scale aircraft, and it gives you a sort of constant scale. So at least then you can sort of compare it. Actually, you're going to wonder why they don't do more 1/48 scale when I think of it. Is it just because, don't know. I guess you get bigger bang for your buck in 35th scale than doing 48 scale.
Yeah. True.
Speaking of 35th scale, Amusing Hobby have released some more CAD and previews of their new elephant tank that they're building. This kit comes with full interior, clear roof parts, which is interesting, and Zimmermitt from Def Model is also included as well. What do you reckon, gents?
Yeah, I like the elephant.
I do too. It was
a complete failure, but it just looks pretty cool.
It was a complete failure. Certainly, it was something that was dominated the battlefield wherever it went, though.
It's got nice interior detail.
The interior details
going off the CAD drawings.
Yeah.
Spectacular interior detail.
The Maybach
So
engines look fantastic. The racking for the shells, the gun looks extremely detailed, which is the Pack 43 that they used in it.
Yep. And you get Zimmerit, DEF model Zimmerit with it.
Yeah. Well, it looks all pretty cool.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Tell you what, it'd be one probably worth getting in the collection.
One thing that I find a bit interesting with this kit is that because they've got these CAD drawings, right? One of them is the entire sort of upper casemate open, and upside down, you can see all the ammunition and the gun in it.
Mm-hmm.
But if anyone is getting the idea that you can lift the top off of this thing and see all that detail, I would say you should dismiss that from your mind immediately, because the ammunition that's attached to the inside of the upper casemate, once you've got those glued in there, you're not going to be able to get it onto the lower half of the hull because they angle outwards.
All right.
Do you get that?
Yeah. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, so what's going to happen is you're going to have to glue the upper casemate on and then maneuver all these ammunition units into there from the top before you put the top on or something. That's going to be tricky stuff.
But again, anything that you do with interior tanks, you've always got that quandary. How are you going to actually show the interior work that you've done balanced against the kit looking buttoned up at the same time? You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't the Elephant have like some pretty big doors on the rear of the tank?
Yes.
But then to see the interior detail, you'd have to light it up, wouldn't you?
Oh, you can just leave a hatch open, right, to get light in there. But yeah, I mean, like in the end, you're never going to see much detail inside any tank kit because holes that you can open up on tanks are weak points, and they generally don't like to have them.
Unless you do a cutaway version, which I don't think you're too enamored with, are you, Julian?
Nah, not my thing.
Yeah. Or do it as an exploded view.
Or an exploded tank.
I don't mean exploded like, boom, it got hit by a shell. But I mean, exploded. So you do the model sort of all sort of raised and sort of opened up.
Yeah.
Like you see on technical drawings.
Yeah, it's a bit of like the autopsy look.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind that because it's creative and you rarely see anyone attempt it because it's pretty difficult. The best one I saw was basically like some German tank, and they had sort of like dissected it into layers horizontally, and they had each layer suspended up this pole that was well hidden. So it looked like they'd exploded it along the vertical axis, right? It was the best rendition of that kind of thing that I've seen. But obviously you lose a lot of things. Like you can't do that and say, go for. Well, I mean, you could, but I don't think it'd be worth it. Like to go like all really nice weathering and all that sort of thing, and then you just have this exploded view. Because otherwise it gets in the way of what you're trying to show off, right?
Well, I'd take my hat off to anybody who can do it in exploded view and sort of
that's what I mean.
I mean, yeah, absolutely.
It's difficult, and no one really does it. It really requires a committed mind.
Well, the Falcon has written in with his new announcements for the fortnight. So let's see what the Falcon has to say. First of all, he's saying aircraft. Copper State Models have announced that they are currently developing 2 new 1/32nd scale aircraft kits. One's going to be the Sopwith Baby and a Cauldron G3. That's interesting.
A French aircraft.
Yeah. It's interesting with the demise of Wignut Wings. This is the perfect time for sort of Copper State Models. And indeed, as we know, Mung has sort of stepped into that area as well with their Fokker triplane. So the World War One guys are still getting their fix of new aircraft that are coming out, so that's fantastic. AMG are showing sprues for their long-awaited 1/72nd scale Polikarpov R5 Natasha. When there's going to be a recon version, one with torpedoes and one in ground attack variants. Apparently there's no stopping door or wings. They've just shown early CAD renderings for a 1/48 scale Caudron Renault CR714 French World War II fighter. It's interesting. Julian,
is that the one with a really long nose?
I think it might be. It's something that Julian would be
It looked like a racing plane.
Yeah, I'd have to have a look at some drawings of that to see what it looks like. In armour, Dragon Models will be releasing a 1/35th scale Neo Smart Kit of the Stug 3 OSFB. They're also releasing 2 Korean War Shermans in 1/72nd scale, the standard M4A3E8 and the M4A3E8 flamethrower tank. Apparently, that's a 105mm howitzer with a coaxial flamethrower gun. That's interesting. Das Werk will release a 1/35th Gepanzer. Is that the right word?
Panther.
Thank you. Munition Schlepper, which is a VK02 model. It's an obscure subject, no doubt, but it was real, and apparently 42 of them were built and used in the Leningrad sector on the Russian front. Miniart have added another 1/35th scale T-34 to their lineup. This one is a composite turret T-34/85 from Factory 112 with 7 decal options. Apparently not long back, Rifle Models released a 1/35th scale Challenger 2 Megatron TES. Well, apparently they're going to release the plain vanilla Challenger 2, which should very much please the British armour fans. That's interesting. I wouldn't mind getting a Challenger. Border Models will release a 1/35th scale World War II British tank. It's going to be the Crusader Mark III, and the Falcon is hoping that it's going to be a good one, as the new tool Crusader is well overdue. Flowhawk Models have announced a new aircraft carrier in 1/700 scale. It's going to be HMS Illustrious 1940 version. Oh, that's a shame that's in 1/700 scale. Their 1/700 scale kit of the British battle cruiser HMS Inflexible 1914 is now on sale. And Mini Art have announced and showing some box art and sprues for 1/35th scale set of musical instruments. Why? We just don't know.
Oh, I know why.
Why?
So you can do it. You do a Stalingrad diorama. No, seriously. During the battle of Stalingrad, the Russian Philharmonic Orchestra that was in the area there actually had an impromptu performance.
Oh, seriously?
Try and lift everyone's spirits.
Did it work?
Well, obviously, because the Russians kicked the Germans out. So, yeah, obviously it worked.
The Falcon also popped in with a late mail, and he wrote, this was yesterday, a few interesting items came up. Apparently, Door Wings have teased another new 1/48 scale kit they're working on. It's going to be a Curtiss Wright AT9 Jeep, which is a twin-engine advanced trainer. Mm-hmm. And apparently an unnamed company is in development of a 1/48 scale kit of the de Havilland DH-89 Dragon Rapide.
About bloody time. That is a beautiful aeroplane.
It's a very elegant 1930s twin-engine short-haul airliner later used by many air forces as a transport and trainer.
Including our own.
And Models Fit have completed design work on their 1/48 scale F-82 twin Mustang, which hopefully we'll see on sale in the near future. Wow, that's interesting, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah. Twin Stang.
Have you guys got any more announcement for what's new in the model world?
AK's bringing out a new book that's right up my alley.
Yeah.
Doomsday Chariots.
Oh, what's that about?
All Mad Max style vehicles.
That is right up your alley.
And they're also bringing out all these accessories if you want to like update that. They've got post-apocalyptic universal pickup truck flamethrower.
Oh.
They've got a crossbow bolt launcher. They've got another different style of flamethrower. They've got all these things so you can just update your 124 and 125th scale cars into post-apocalyptic vehicles. They've got decal sets, one that's right up the Mad Max alley because it's got all the War Boys type decals and so forth, graffiti and so forth. No, it looks, something I'll be spending my money on.
Oh, I love the War Boys. I reckon that is the best Mad Max movie ever.
It is, yeah. I totally agree. Look, I'm a fan of the original with Mel Gibson.
Yep.
Perfect. But Tom Hardy did a great job.
Yeah.
Another thing they've got, which I'm going to get my hands on, and I know Dave will get his hands on, they're bringing out a bottle called Eraser. And what it is, it's a cleaner for your cyacrylate glue. So basically, if you have any glue that's like spills over, your super glue, you use this and it gets rid of it straight away.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Huh. That'd be perfect for your really detailed photo etch work where...
Correct, where you're doing the little ships and so forth.
Does it melt it, though, so that it pops open the work you've already done? I wonder how that works.
I'm not too sure. But I have seen people use similar products and they work really well on plastic. They don't affect the plastic at all. I'm presuming this is going to be the same. I'll grab a bottle as soon as it's available and let you know what I think of it.
Actually, why don't you grab 2 bottles? I'll have one as well.
Yeah, well, when it's out, sure. Not a problem.
Well, there's not much point in you telling him what you think of it because he'll have his own one made up, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but then I can tell you and tell all the listeners.
Sure.
Which reminds me... Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Julian.
Yeah, so I'm very interested in the Crusader from Border Model because the old artillery kit was old and
dated. Yeah.
I mean, like it was so bad that when it went to and such a popular subject that Tamiya reboxed it, but they reboxed and added their own parts to it.
Yeah,
because it was that bad. But word has it that people are already saying, "Oh, and it's wrong. The new one's wrong."
Oh, you always find that.
Yeah, things like apparently like the number of wrinkles or folds on the skirts isn't quite right. But there's multiple different types of skirt options, so who cares?
It looks like a Crusader to me.
Oh, jeez. Tony Jacob wrote in, and he actually did one more than just write in. He actually sent me a couple of bottles of a new decal setting solution. It's the Walthers Solver set.
Oh, Solver set is supposed to be very good.
Mm. Well,
you can't get it here.
Well, actually, I've got a bottle in my hot little hand right here, and I've got a spare bottle, which thank you, Tony. You've sent 2 of us 2 down, so you and Ian can fight over the second bottle. And Tony's actually done quite a bit of work where he's tested it, and I might actually post that to our Facebook page because it's particularly interesting, the results.
Yeah, do so, yeah.
He says it works.
It's supposed to be stronger than the Guns decal softer.
Tony actually says it's sort of between Tamiya extra thin glue and the normal decal softers that you get from other companies. So it's particularly useful for hard to settle decals or thick decals. Yeah.
There should always be, technically all of the decal softeners should be, harsher than normal, and then they get you to water it down or something. Because you can always water it down, but you can never concentrate it up, right?
Yes. Well, I'll post it on our Facebook page, some of the stuff that Tony's done, and he's a great experimenter. He loves sort of experimenting and testing things out, and he's actually done some work also on Molotow chrome as well. So I might want to get a bit of time actually post that on our Facebook page as well.
Yeah,
which
definitely.
Is really interesting, the sort of work he's done there as well. So yeah, okay, I'll figure out how I'm going to get this to either you or Julian. I've got to figure it. Anyway, maybe the postal service. What do you reckon?
Yeah.
Finally, the other only news I've got in the modelling world is the announcement of a new model podcast, which is coming up. This is called the Plastic Posse Podcast. And it's being done by a chap called Scott Gentry, who hails from Utah, out of the US. And in fact, I spoke to Scott earlier on, so let's have a listen to what he has to say about this new podcast that's coming up. And now I've got on the phone Scott Gentry. Sorry, Scott. My English is not the best. Even though it's my first language, I always seem to murder it. Scott hails from Utah in the US. And Scott's here to talk about an exciting new podcast that he's about to kick off. Scott, why don't you tell us what's going on?
Yeah, I appreciate it, David. A big fan, as I've mentioned off air with you guys, and a big fan of On the Bench, and looking forward to seeing what you guys do with that big number 100 on the episode that you have coming up here soon.
Oh, we're still struggling to come up with an idea for that, but anyway.
We'll definitely break out the hats and everything. It's quite an accomplishment. But yeah, I've got a couple of good buddies here in the States with me. One of them's named Doug Smith, and the other one's named TJ Holler. Doug and I are from Utah, and TJ is from the East Coast in the Washington, D.C. area. And we're launching a podcast called the Plastic Posse Podcast. And kind of what our focus will be is we'll be a little bit like you guys in that we'll cover a bunch of different subjects, but the three of us are sci-fi modelers at heart. And so, our podcast will probably focus a little more than you guys have maybe on things like wargaming miniatures and, gunpla kits, the Bandai Japanese science fiction kits, things like that.
Oh, that sounds really exciting. You get to touch on real space subjects as well?
Yeah, we are, and none of the three of us are super into that. But I've been following with interest your real space builds, and it's something that I'm interested in maybe tackling in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's such an exciting time in the modelling world at the moment because we've got all these fantastic podcasts coming up. When are you guys planning to release your first episode?
I think right now we're in the process of recording, and we've got, kind of our music and some of those behind the scenes things done. And I think we look forward to launching probably in 2 to 3 weeks.
Right. And if people want to follow your progress, where can they find you?
Yeah, great. I appreciate that. Yeah, you can find us on Facebook at Plastic Posse Podcast. We've got a Facebook page. And don't want to encourage people too much yet, but we do have a website, and that's www.plasticpossepodcast.com. But the Facebook page is probably going to be the place where it's going to be easier to get us, and we encourage everybody to kind of reach out. And like you guys in your really great Facebook page, we'd like to have interactions with people that are listening, and encourage people to post photos, all those kinds of things.
No worries at all. Scott, that sounds really exciting. Can't wait to hear your first episode, and I'm sure all the people who follow not just our podcast, but of course also listen to the guys up in Canada and those banjo pickers down in Kentucky, they're just as excited as well. So let us know when you launch, and we'll probably get you back on the show again to have a chat at some time about how things are going. How's that sound, Scott?
Well, that sounds fantastic, and we're going to definitely return the favor. Look forward to getting you guys on our podcast hopefully pretty soon as well. So
no worries at all, Scott. So again, the final call, that is called the Scale Model Posse.
Plastic
Posse
Podcast.
The Plastic Posse Podcast. I like the cowboy sort of thing there. It's great.
Yep.
All right, Scott. Thanks very much, mate. Looking forward to it.
Thanks for having me, David. Take care.
Well, that's exciting. Another podcast popping up on the horizon. It's interesting that these guys are sort of going to be concentrating more on the science fiction figures, and as well as looking at the normal sort of stuff as well. So apparently they're doing their first episode. They're recording it this weekend, but obviously it might take a week or so to actually land into your feed. But we'd certainly recommend you guys listening to it, and that adds to the quiver of fantastic podcasts that are out there, all to do with modelling podcasts. And of course, I can't fail but to mention our good friends from Kentucky, Mike and Dave, those banjo-picking, whiskey-sipping models out there. And let's not forget, of course, our Canadian friends, Stuart and Anthony, although Anthony's taken a step back for some personal reasons. Obviously, he's a bit busy with work and family, but he's still going to be a supporter of the show and also a special guest from time to time, so that's great to hear.
Good to hear, yep.
All right, I think that's pretty much it for this episode.
All right.
You guys got any sort of last comments or anything you want to say?
Photo which is your friend.
Julian.
Well, in the sort of vein of my emphasis on tools.
Yes.
I would say that the two primary tools are the most important. The tweezers and the knife. Right? So don't skimp out on your knife and like get something that looks like a butter knife, Some people have those really big, fat, bladed hobby knives. Do you know the ones? Can you know how there's like a few different sizes?
Yeah.
They get the really big one, the one with the really ridiculous. It's like the size of your thumb, And the blades cost a fortune, right? And you can't use most of it.
I was watching a YouTube video last night on modelling. I'm not going to mention which one it was or anything because I don't want to embarrass the person. But they were removing the pieces from the sprue using a set of pliers.
Oh!
And as soon as I saw this guy using pliers, it was stop, next video. It was like, I can't watch this.
Oh,
that's one step away from
using
doing the
teeth.
old twist off.
Or using your teeth.
Have we actually done a podcast on tools?
Can't remember. We can do it next one.
I think that'd be a really good idea.
All right, next podcast we'll talk about tools.
I'm sure we haven't spoken about tools, but we need to.
Yeah.
And we need to start having some ideas. So this is episode 91. We're not that far away from episode 100. I've got to figure out what the heck we're going to do for that.
Yeah.
I mean...
we'll have to think about it.
Yeah, I know.
You can just make a montage of all your mispronunciations.
Yeah, there you go. An hour and a half of Dave stuffing up the English language.
Well, it's not the English
and every other one.
Yes, it's mainly the German and Japanese ones that get me. I can do the Russian ones pretty easy. You just say, and that's it. You pretty much got the Russian language down pat. But
we just don't have enough Russian listeners to call you out.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not too bad with the French one either. I'm pretty good with the French language. Voulez-vous parler français avec moi? See, I'm really good with the French language. English, which is my first language, it's a bit of a struggle with that one sometimes.
Yes, so we've noticed.
Guys, it's been great talking to you. Thanks very much for listening with us all, and we'll be back in a fortnight. And as we've already flagged, we're going to be talking about tools.
Yep.
All right, guys, I'll see you later.
Three tools,
What?
talking about tools.
Absolutely. See you later, guys.
Bye-bye.